Where did that thing come from? Shh. Stay close. I think it saw us. What the hell shot this thing? Welcome, everybody, back to the next part of the Banner Saga. Last time we basically just went through the beginning of the game and the tutorial and all that, but now we're in what most of the game will be like. Like, an apocalyptic story with a bunch of choices that will probably get us all killed. And now that we can actually perma-kill people, let's do this. We find our two essential protagonists here, Rook and Alette. Rook's main ability in this game is Mark Prey. Not only does it cause armor damage, but any unit who can hit will. Unfortunately, that happened. Alette's ability, Thread the Needle, goes through all enemies, but it's honestly not going to really help with this one, so just cause more breakage. Ow. F your armor. Oh yeah, and her passive, like most archers, is that she does bonus damage when she doesn't move. Unfortunately, with how this is happening, I foobarred it, and so everyone needs to move. Alright, let's see if I can demonstrate this properly. Thank you! I still have no idea if Mark Prey counts for both people who get the kill, or if it only applies to the person who makes the killing blow. Was that a Dredge? Alette looks calm, but you can tell her heart is about to beat right out of her chest. It was. Let me see. Are you hurt? No, I'll be fine. When the Dredge attacked, your cart in the ox bolted. It spilled most of your supplies. You can see more dark figures moving through the trees when you glance in that direction. All that food. That's the last we're going to get before winter. What do we do? Don't run. Let me think. And this is where a lot of stuff happened to the Banner Saga. Making dialogue choices that can impact your game. Like here. Supplies mean that people don't starve and die. And we need to choose a decision that will get that, if we don't pick right, could get us none of them. I am going to discuss the guide as much as I can to make sure to show off all the choices, but I will just go with the path I find the best. So, let's pick option 2. If we hurry, we can gather them before more Dredge appear. I can see them in the trees. Are you sure about this? No, but we have to try. Be quick! Alette calms the ox before you frantically toss supplies back into the cart. More Dredge emerge, but you manage to get the cart moving again before they can close in. Colossal figures slowly recede into the distance. Yeah, most places have supplies, thank God, but it's not. It's a decision of, is it worth spending your renown that you need to promote people to make sure you have more food. Decisions, they happen. Also dialogue. Voice line, are you there? I tried leading you in. Game? God dang it.
I never expected to see the Dredge with my own eyes. What happened in the north?
Jon Snow.
Already we see more between the trees as we approach our home, and Alette grips my hand tight. We must find Iver.
Ah, crap, we're gonna find Iver the Boneless. Is this what happened to him after Vikings ended? Yeah, I do like this this bit of detail to the game, the Dredge are actually looking into the town. They're not. It's not just said that they are. And they are some big boys. Iver. The enormous Varl in question towers over the men in the training field. He squints as you approach. Already back, Huntmaster? I thought you'd be tomorrow. Dredge. Everywhere. Dredge. How'd they get through Greyhorn? Must have broken through the fort. The fighters nearby stop sparring. They gather around you. Damn it. They'll be here soon if they're not already. You hear screams. From the outskirts, people are running towards the Great Hall. Iver turns to one of the older boys in this group of fighters. Eggle, take Alette to the Great Hall. Tell the chieftain what's happening. The rest of you gather up as many people as you can. Come on, Alette. No, wait. I want to help. There was no reason to not let them fight here, so let them fight, Iver. Why not invite some goat to join us too? You're asking for dead kids. I won't let anything happen to her. We'll have to deal with it sooner or later, Iver. What now? Eggle, keep your shield up. I skipped on accident. I apologize. I hit the spacebar too fast. Sure enough, the Dredge are gathering in number. You hear misplaced laughter nearby. Past a pile of corpses, a man is single-handedly holding back 4 Dredge with a battered spear. Behind you, Trigby, shouts Iver, who shoots you a dour look. If Trigby is known for being a madman, at least he's the sort who can hold the spear in the right direction. He smiles a mile wide when he realizes you're going to have to fight your way out of this. Trigby's a weird character if you're playing through this game, because he is technically not part of the main game unless you pre-ordered it. He was a pre-order bonus who was added to the other 2 games, independent games on his own when they came out. If you're wondering how I have him, I just modded the game. I did not want to skip out on him, and he's useful to have. Oh yeah, these are items. They basically are just passive bonuses if you have them on a character. So let's just put this on you. That should be fine. That one with the shield won't lay down. Let me handle him. Sure, but you're gonna shiv this guy first. Oh yeah, and Rook is only one of 2 characters in the entire game series who can do both ranged and melee attacks. So he's probably one of the most versatile characters in the entire game. Uh-oh. Ugh. That sucks. You just removed all the friggin' armor. Move here. Mark prey. Yeah, that's why I don't... I guess it does count for both, because both Rook and Iver got that counted as a kill. I don't know. It's weird. Alette, you hit him. Yeah, you're going to want to get your units promoted as you go forward with the game, because that is the only way you're going to get actual stuff done. Let's have Trigby go to him and finish this. 3 promotions! That's actually a new record for me in this fight. Difficulty. Combat can be unforgiving. Don't hesitate to change the difficulty of battle if it leaves you frustrated or find yourself needing a tougher challenge. Yeah, it has no effect on the story of the choices you make. I am not crazy for doing easy mode in this. The game itself encourages turning it up or down depending on how you play. Hi. You take stock of your handiwork. Think I'll stick with you lads, says Trigby. Unless you've got other ideas. Trigby. Iver grunts something non-committal. A black horde is forming at the tree line. Enough of this, says Iver, glancing over his shoulder. We're going to go back. Then adds, Rook, I'm doing one more check of the house around here. See if you can find anyone. Keep watch. As you turn to head back, a colossus appears around the side of a house. It silently looms over Alette, its face an expressionless stony mask, more terrifying than any roar it may have produced. 19 or so as it pulls back its enormous mace. And I want to discuss something about that carrot blonde kid, Eggle. In the entire game series, he has the most permit kills, with around 4 or 5 in this game alone. In fact, it's an achievement to make him live the whole time. If you don't do this event correctly, if you brought them to this fight, Eggle will be the first casualty of the entire game. On the one hand, this can be beneficial for a later thing down the road if you want to do it. On the other hand, since Eggle has the best armor in the entire game, let's actually do what we're supposed to do to keep him alive. Step 1. Shoot it with an arrow. As though second nature, you knock an arrow. Alette is standing directly between you and the dredge, making the shot perilous at best. If you're off by a few inches... Stop thinking! Shoot the dredge! Leroy Jenkins! You let go. A second passes like an eternity. The arrow bounces off the dredge's face, inches away from what you think is an eye. It recoils, then turns up upon Alette again. Eggle rushes to her side. Iver throws himself between them, catching the mace on his shield, and returns the favor, crushing the Dredge's head with his shield point. When the dust settles, you can see everyone is alright. Yeah, Eggle would have taken the blow if we didn't do anything, and yeah, metal shield or not, that guy ain't gonna survive a giant stone mace crushing him. Let's get out of here, says Iver as he goes to check the last few houses nearby. Rook, see if you can find any more survivors and meet me in the front of the hall. Let's go to the heroes thing real quick so we can promote our units. Yeah, that just tells us about items like I did. Boost exertion, for the love of God. Why? Because the more willpower you could spend, the better in my case. So just make everyone able to use more of it. Oh yeah, and what I said about Eggle having the most armor, I like to point out that even Iver only just comes over that, but Eggle is a human with a shield that can have 16 armor. Yeah, he's a tank. You find anyone? A few. Set them inside. God, this is bad. The guys are dead, Iver. I'm out of practice, Rook. Look, as long as I've known you, you've always wormed your way out of talking about Dredge. This would be a time to start talking. I can tell you they rarely stop for rest. The sooner we leave, the better. They'll follow us until we're tripping over tired women and children. Then they'll attack. Even after we're wiped out, they'll keep coming, trampling corpses in their wake. There's no end to them. Geez, the Zerg rush has never looked better. How did anyone survive the Great Wars? Ask the Menders. I wasn't there. There's no mages here either. But I know you fought your fair share. Yeah, I've killed enough slag for one lifetime. That's why you're going to save us now. Don't lay that on me. Come on, let's go inside. Rook, thank the gods you made it. Hello, one-time use character model. The Great Hall is an utter din, filled with as it is with dozens of terrified families. Don't stop worrying yet. I haven't. What in the depths is going on? Dredge milling around, ransacking houses? The chieftain's wife finds you, pushing through the crowd. They must know we're here. Why haven't they attacked? Don't know. I wouldn't expect it to last. I've made some decisions, but tell me straight, what would you do in my place? I'd have left by now. They're already outside the doors. Not so easily done. Rook? Yeah, considering how many there are and the human wave description we just got, I don't think we can hold. The chieftain sighs a deep and heavy breath, slumping. He looks years older. I imagined us fighting back and saving the town, but nonsense. Iver's right, of course. We can't just wait to be slaughtered. Where do we go? If Dredge are coming down from the north, Frostvellr to the west. It's close and it has walls. I intend to be free of Skogr in one push. Nobody left behind. I wouldn't. They'll follow. If they follow us, we're done. What do you suggest? Let me create a distraction, then go. I'll catch up on the road to Frostvellr. Do we abandon the storehouse? I will point out any of these could go well, but I just want more supplies. If we have to. We're leaving behind everything but the supplies you brought, Rook. We'd be leaving behind everything. On the other hand, Frostvellr's at least a week away. Not sure we've got that much food. It'd be cutting it close. If we're saddled with heavy carts, it'll be almost impossible to outpace the Dredge. And if we run out of food before we get to Frostvellr, it won't matter how many escape. I still say let me handle the Dredge. We can't afford to leave the food behind. It's going to get us killed, Rook. Die fighting Dredge or starve on the road. I'd rather fight. I agree with Rook. Then I'm coming with you. This catches you by surprise. The chieftain rubs his chin, but doesn't argue. From the training she's given Alette, you've no doubt she can handle a bow. Fine, I'll get the townspeople ready. Take some of the fighters and gather as much food as you can. Then tell us when you're ready. You step into the courtyard, where you can already see Dredge in every direction. The storehouse isn't far. You slip inside and start loading carts while Iver and the half-dozen men who came along do the same. When you've gathered as much as you dare, Iver takes position outside the Great Hall. Dredge have already taken notice, watching closely. Come on, he mutters, and people begin filing out of the hall. Almost immediately, things begin to go wrong. Some Dredge go after the ox tied to supplies, while others lunge at a cart with chickens. Terrified men pull axes, and the Dredge respond in kind. Not far away, you spot Iver raising his shield, cursing. You prepare for a fight. And with Oddleaf here, combined with Iver, Rook, and Alette, we have essentially our protagonists for most of the game series. Don't focus on what I said. So let's get this done. I did not mean to hit ready, I meant to move up. Oops. I know I could have killed that guy in one hit with Rook, but I'm not intending to. I want to get kills on Gil, Oddleaf, and Shrigby for this, so, well, they're not completely screwed as we go on. And that's one on Oddleaf. Good. I want to see if this works. Oh, it did not. I guess it's just Rook and whoever does the killing blow. In the chaos that follows, you notice out of the corner of your eye some of the town guards struggling desperately with Dredge, what might be the chieftain amongst them. To your left, Iver is laying into a large colossus. Behind him, an elderly man scrambles to his feet. Past that, it's clear most of the townspeople are scattering. If nobody steps in, they can be picked off one by one. Nearby, a Yox bleats pitifully as Dredge wrestles with the wagon tied to it. Another full cart has been toppled beside it, abandoned. And you could end up losing more food and supplies than you started out with. Without food, it doesn't matter how many people escape. Iver, you shout, bearing your axe into the nearest Dredge. With a grunt, he joins you in fending off the Dredge around the supplies. Yeah, let's just fix this up a little so it's not completely bogus on us. Why did I say bogus? Victory! Fighters notice your victory and scramble to help throw supplies back on the wagons. You've gathered what you can to get the yachts moving. Soon, you've put distance between you and the Dredge. Survivors gather as you flee, fewer than you had hoped. You see Oddleaf as she emerges from a row of trees, struggling to bear the body of the chieftain in her arms. Her face is blank. Helping her to the caravan, you cover the body with a cloth. The chieftain's death hits you like a punch to the gut. Only at Iver's insistence does the caravan get moving again. Again, the Frostvellr. Alette's hand clasps tightly around your own, and you walk together in silence. The chieftain could technically live, but he's basically put into a dying coma and will die later on, and will pass on later in the game anyway. Pausing to catch your breath, you glance backward to see the caravan stretched out past the point of safety. They're spaced out so far you're unable to see those bringing up the rear. We've got to pull them together, says Iver. It'd be dangerous to stop until at least the Godstone. The path should be just ahead. Rally the caravan with a speech. You make your way to the rear and hoist a small child onto your shoulders. Fight for every step. Remember those who didn't make it and push onward. The clansmen see your effort and follow suit, pushing themselves harder. Oh, that's an intricate shrine. Far enough for today, I think. After a day of misery, men and women dropped their meager possessions beneath the godstone of Frostvellr. Frostvellr? I don't know. What are we doing? We just left our homes because suddenly there were Dredge. Probably shouldn't be looking to me for advice. Look at these people. Someone has to hold them together. That's you, Rook. Well, good news, Rook. You've been promoted. What do we do if we run into more Dredge? You mean what? You mean when? I'll be honest with you. These men can't take on Dredge by themselves. I'll expect we'll lose 2 for every slag we take down. So we run? Only if you want to lose men and want to lose women and children. We're going to have to fight, and there are going to be deaths. Odds be damned. Why is this happening? Think of how I feel. I'm stuck nursing a bunch of weaklings. You do care. I can tell. Men are a plague on the world worse than any Dredge as far as I can tell. Chats like this are why we get along so well, Iver. You sleep poorly, the sun forever stuck to an eternal bright sky. Before the others rise, you find yourself staring over the long, low hills covered in pine. The Godstone looms overhead. The massive eyes for Frostvellr are staring the same direction as yours. Let's take a look. The weathered stone doesn't see many visitors. Not much reason to travel so far east. When hunters come through, they sometimes stop to give offerings. Not of habit more than anything else now that the gods are dead. Frostvellr was the god of hunters and of wild beasts, occasionally seen roaming the land as well as men and wolf. He was always depicted in effigy with his terrible spear. You wonder what he'd think about his woods being full of Dredge now. Probably either pissed off or going full predator hunter mode. A young girl from the caravan approaches you. I made this for you, she says, handing you a crude necklace carved from a branch she must have found nearby. Thank you for saving my mama, she says before running back to her tent. Back at your tent, you rouse Alette, who clings to your arm until she's completely awake. Bad dreams. Eventually, the camp is broken down. It's time to move on to Frostvellr. It feels more like an end more than a start. Yeah, only at the beginning of chapter 2 and shit has hit the fan. And as I said in the first part, things can only get worse. The caravan halts when a group of men appear in the trail, weapons at their feet. We've seen the Dredge in your wake, says one. We don't wish to meet them alone. If you'll let us join you, we'll show you a watering hole with enough animals to fill those supply wagons. An inherent fear of strangers raises mutters from the caravan. What are you doing out here alone? We were hunting for food when the Dredge found our village, says the man. When we returned, he looks away, unable to finish. Now this is interesting. In most apocalypse stories, this would be where these guys just try to kill you and take your stuff. But let's allow them to join us. If you're no trouble, come along, you say. The men cautiously join your ranks and prove trustworthy. The hidden watering hole nearby is teeming with animals, and soon your supplies are neatly restocked. Yeah, oddly, they were exactly what they said. Kind of what I like about Subversion at times. Sometimes what somebody says is exactly what's gonna happen. And the beginning of this small plot cul-de-sac. During a rest, one of the men gets too drunk and ends up splashing meat in the warrior's face. A brawl erupts. Many thrown fists and a broken bone later, the instigator, Raffensvarder, sure, is tossed to the ground at your feet. Angry clansmen looking for satisfaction. His personal defense is little more than drooling mumbles. Laugh off the scuffle. You look around at the bruised and bloody faces, then lift your own horn of meat. Skull! You shout back with a smile. Skull! The young warriors shout back. The merriment spreads, and soon everyone is laughing and drinking again. And nobody died. Or we lost morale. Or someone got their ass kicked. I don't know. The caravan is visibly relieved when they find a small village on the way to Frostvellr, with beds and fresh supplies. The locals here are shocked by the news you bring up and discuss it amongst themselves while you set up nearby. Want to just check out the market before we do anything. I'll get these because they're helpful in the long run. And while some guides say not to buy supplies, I feel like it'd be worth it so we just don't run out later. Let's talk to these guys, to Gil. How's the arm, Egil? You find Egil out just outside the camp, practicing his sword swings. I saw you taking some hard hits out there. Oh, yeah, I'm great. Not great considering everything that's... I'm fine. My arm's fine. It's a strong shield. It's Rook, right? I know we haven't talked much before now. But if you want, just call me Gil. Okay, Gil. I want to let you know that I meant what I said before, about making sure nothing happens to Alette. I've never seen a shield like that before. Yeah, I doubt there's many. My father made this. It's solid metal, really heavy. But I've been practicing with it since I was a kid. I used to spend a lot of time just getting used to lifting it. He raises it up to show you. I'm pretty good with it now. It's the only thing my father's I have left. Then when my mother died, she gave it to me before she died. Iver seems to think you're pretty good. Did he say that? That's good. I'm trying. Never had to fight anything like Dredge before, but I don't have much else to do. And how many people get to train with Varl? It seems like I could be a help to someone. That's what I want to be. You're the most optimistic son of a bitch. It's the apocalypse. Don't you know everyone's supposed to be a cynical douche? You're protective of Alette, huh? Well, I don't want her to get hurt. You see his cheeks turn bright red. Don't worry, she can take care of herself too. I know, I didn't mean... Easy, Gil. I know what you meant. I'm heading back to camp. Stay strong. I will. Oh, and if you need something, let me know. I can do anything you need. Between you and Iver, we're going to be okay. I can tell. Again, way too optimistic for most apocalypse stories. Let's talk to Trigvi, who, as we're going to figure out, is a crazy son of a bitch. Trigvi, guess I better thank you for helping us out back there. Trigvi turns his head, eyes wide as though something was stalking him. Nice beard, Rook, but that's not why I'm here. Oh, okay. Why are you here? Fat clansman. What? They eat. Don't know how to kill a thing, Rook. He rolls the Arn Rook graciously while holding out his spear for you to inspect. Look at this thing. They grow on trees. You can make this from a tree. My advice, show them how to stick some pigs or stick a rabbit, a bird. You can stick almost anything, Rook. You think carefully about how to respond to that. Yeah, I have no idea. Have you always been this way, Trigvi? Have I always been Trigvi? Dumb question, Rook. Look, I hear what they say behind my back. Trigvi's handsome. Trigvi's brave. But you're the right man for this job. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Any more helpful advice? Glad you finally asked. Don't trust a man just because they have faces and use their mouths. A man will look you right through his helmet and lie. Should I trust you, Trigvi? Come on, Rook. Am I wearing a helmet? I've got to go, Trigvi. I get it. We've all got things to do. Me? I was just about to go swimming. At least you're keeping clean. Nobody comes looking for you in a pool of water, you know. Don't let me waste too much time there, okay? We'll come get you before we leave. I'll see you around. I'll leave you to keep your eyes open, Rook. You can't help but hope there was nothing sinister about that last comment. Presumably before Trigvi jumps into an icy lake, because I feel like he would do that. Weird thing about Trigvi. You know what he just said about those helmets? He's 100% correct. For the sake of getting stuff, let's just rest once for good morale, and then let's... Actually, do we have any promotions? What do we need to do? I forgot. Oh, right. You're only just outside the village when two men in red approach. My name is Hogan, says one, gesturing to the other. My brother is Mogan. Wait, are you by any chance a Hulk? Many from the village wish to join you in Frostvellr. A third man, exuding rage, charges up to the group. Shut your mouth, Hogan! He screams. Ah, boy. What's going on? These bastards don't speak for us. They've been trying to divide the village since you got here. True, you can keep whoever wants to stay and die. The rest of us will go with the reasonable people of Skogr. I'll have you both gutted before I let half the village desert. Behind the angry villager, a mob of armed thugs have appeared, all furrowed brows and nervous stares. You both know what will happen to the rest of us if the fields are abandoned. Nobody leaves. There won't be anything to tend to once the Dredge arrive. Dredge my ass. I don't know what the scam is this time, Hogan, but you've got two choices. Get back to work, or I'm finally putting you in the ground. Mogan, what do you say? I thought it was unfair he only asked me. Mogan draws his axe slowly, followed by Hogan. Despite their confidence, the brothers are significantly outnumbered. I think I make a poor farmer. Now, we could let them settle this, but considering they are trying to join us in being sane and leaving, and it's technically two hero units, fuck it. Iver, let's make this a fair fight, and side with the brothers. Iver steps forward. The thugs hesitate. As you pull your axe, you notice that Alette is nowhere to be seen. Well, let's sort this. This to you. Rook can have the dots. I know it's Trigvi's necklace, but I'm giving something. That'll work. Yeah, time to get to the other half of what you do when you kill in an apocalypse. Don't kill the monsters. You just kill the humans who are stupid enough to try to fight to kill each other. Now, like before, let's try to get kills on everyone who hasn't been promoted yet. Or at least one. Oh, that's a problem. Well, not because of the hits, though that is significantly annoying. It's because archers cannot fire on a unit who is right in front of them. Ow. Hey, let's see how you like it. Screw you. Oh. The demonstrate battering ram, back the fuck off. Oops. I kinda forgot that one would happen. Dead. Yep. There we go. The brothers thank you with wide grins. Soon, many of the villagers have joined your caravan. You scan around anxiously for Alette, who has gone missing when the fighting began. Eventually, you find her watching from afar. Hogan returns at that moment to introduce you to his son and wife, and soon you set out again. And as much as we just got out, I want to go back to camp just so I can get these promotions done before I forget. More exertion. And you might think Hogan and Mogan are clones of each other. Well, stat-wise, pretty much, except that Mogan is more attack-heavy and Hogan is more defense-heavy. It actually kind of reflects their characters as we find out. Hogan is much more protective and willing to be good, and Mogan's just a flat-out blood knight. So it's technically in their characters for one and the other to have a stat difference based on attack and defense. Alette marches quietly alongside the caravan, a little distance since leaving the village. When you stop for a rest, Oddleaf approaches you both. Alette, I have something for you. Oddleaf has gathered up the long banner from the caravan, and smiles warmly as she passes it to Alette. Wait, that long cape thing had a purpose? What's this about? I was hoping you'd sew up the banner with everything that's happened since we left Skogr. There's actual banners in this game? Come and find me another time, Rook, and we'll talk. Before you can comment, she departs. Dad, are you the chieftain now? Looks that way. Oh, then that means... You're both quiet for a moment, while Alette unfurls the banner. Oddleaf has been teaching me how to sew. She speaks pretty highly of you. Can we read the part about Mom? Man, it's like a Disney movie. The mother's dead. You nod. On the banner has been sewn the story of the families who have lived in Skogr throughout the years, just as it is done on every banner in every town. I wish she were here, but I'm kind of glad she isn't. The section of banner about your family is short, but Alette has been sewing in colorful designs. Why do you say that? So she doesn't have to deal with all of this. Dredge, leaving home, and... Why did you have to kill those men? In the village? I mean, if it's okay to ask. Oh boy, the moral dilemma has popped in. I had to make a hard choice. Because the Dredge are terrifying. Every time we have to fight them, I just want to run, but I don't want to kill a person. Please. Are you mad at me? You might have to someday. I guess I would do it if I really had to, but do we have to? I know what you mean. Yeah, I know. Dad, I think you're doing a good job. She hugs you. You spend the rest of your time together, sewing new verses into the banner. For better or worse, the story of Skogr is your burden now. Technically, there's an achievement for not having her kill anyone, but nothing gameplay-wise happens with it. And, truth be told, there's really no reason not to have her fight in any battle that isn't Dredge. How are you doing there, Odd? Oh, that's a horrible nickname. I'm alright. Not at first. Sometimes when a loved one dies, people say it doesn't sink in for a while. It's sunk in for me right away. People tell me I'm a strong woman. It's funny. My father named me Oddleaf before I was born. He wanted a boy so badly. Strong woman. What does that even mean? People look up to you. Don't take this the wrong way, but I don't want to be known for handling my feelings. If I feel nothing about my husband dying, people think I'm strong. If I cry because my insides feel like they're on fire, I'm weak. Why does that feel so backwards? I'm sorry, Rook. It's been hard. You're not sure what to say. In the many years you've known the chieftain's wife, this is probably the most you've ever talked. You asked me to come find you? Yes, it's about the banner. I thought about it a long time. He asked me to give it to you, if something happened. What would you have done? That's what I've been thinking about so much. It should be mine. I could carry it, but then I thought about why he named you. I get it. They won't follow a woman. Families would leave, our banner would be divided. You're probably right. Sexist douchebags. I know I'm right about this one. It's not just about our small town. What happens the first time we need something from another clan? How will that go? And the first time someone decides they think they can take advantage of us. I think this is what has to happen. Maybe this is what it means to be a strong woman. She looks sideways, eventually giving over a timid smile. I'm not sure if that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, or the sweetest. Hey, it's my life in a nutshell. Listen, I know I dragged this out. The truth is, my husband and I could never have a child. I don't want our banner to end here. It'll be safe with you and Alette. I know you're going to take care of her. She puts her hand on your shoulders as she heads back to the camp. Turns out, as we find out an impossible choice that we probably won't see in my playthrough, that's technically not true. That's technically only half true. Oddleaf can have kids. Guess the husband is just infertile. I'm a sadistic bastard. I think sadistic was the wrong word to use there. At a small split in the trail, a few fighters stop to speak with you, each carrying a single pack. They recognize this place, one man says. I've had several years here with some kin. If they're still around, we'll have to warn them about what's coming. With luck, we'll find you again in less than a week. Yeah, this is a hard choice to make, but let's send them off with extra supplies. If that's all you're taking, you may never make it, you say. Grabbing a few items from a supply wagon, you strap the additional provisions to their backs. Search for family instead of food, you say with a smile. The men clasp wrists with you before departing. We don't see them again, I'll tell you that much, so either they went their own way, or, well, they did. Complaints about Frostvellr's excessive drinking have resurfaced. Ah, come on, dude. This time the man stumbled over some tent ropes, pulled a snagged canvas through a campfire, nearly setting a supply wagon aflame. The man's been put out the fire off both the wagon and Frostvellr's leg before bleeding him to you. Really, dude? You're in the middle of the apocalypse and you decide to get drunk and freaking did that. Yeah, punish him physically. Fuck it. You're considering your options when Oddleaf appears out of nowhere and doubles him over with a gut shot. Endanger everyone again and you'll get more than a cracked rib, she shouts, leaving in a huff. The others go back to their business, satisfied with the outcome. Drunken son of a gun. It's not like he can do anything worse. Dredge! Shouts a man from the back of the caravan. It's Frostvellr. Oh, come on. The unabashed drunk. Staggering towards you, looking not entirely sober. He screams again, pointing to the trees in the distance. Fear races through the caravan as fighters pull their weapons. That's returned with no sightings, and furious men surround Frostvellr. Yeah, this seems right. A swift and brutal beating befalls Raffensvarder, one that leaves him begging for mercy. The next time he's offered mead, the man shies away in fear. As for the rest of the caravan, everyone seems pretty satisfied. And thankfully, that's the last time I have to say that guy's name. Thank God, because I think somebody's gonna get pissed off at me if I keep saying that wrong.
Once a strong, thriving city, the walls of Frostvellr now just keep the howling winds at bay. With luck, they'll hold out against Dredge as well.
With walls like that, I don't think they're gonna hold out much. Also, with all the tents, I don't think things are looking good. Because that's supposed to be where the main town is, and yeah, those gates are firmly shut. You jostle through the feral crowds of sunken faces who appear as though they've been freezing in front of Frostvellr for days. The gates are closed. You come to a stop at the bottom of the hill. This is not looking good. Why are there so many people in the fields? We can't stay outside in the open like this. Oddly finds you among the many refugees. Rook, I just talked to some of the women here. Nobody's being let into the city. Why? It's overrun with Varro from Blotzbalkir, Greyhorn, people from Bitra, all the nearby villages. The Dredge are everywhere. And the chieftain of Frostvellr has locked himself in his great hall. That's why they closed the gates. When the Dredge come, these hills would turn red. We have to get in there. Where else can we go? With our whole caravan? South, but Sigurholm or Boersgard are so far away they might as well be horseborn lands. And Lord knows we'll never get to either of those places in this game. The Dredge are moving south. If we keep going west, we might get out of their path. Wormtoe is half as far as Sigurholm, and full of Varro. And across the waste, these people won't make it. I don't like any of these ideas. That's because they're all bad. There's no point in talking about leaving. We have to get in there. We're getting in those walls somehow. I can get that gate open. Let's see if there's any other way before we start breaking down gates. I was gonna break it. Just push really hard. Yeah, we got a problem here. Let's see real quick. That because it's that statue thing item is really good, even if it is such a late game item. Like 5. 5 is the max level anyone can get to in this game. Just want to set this up real quick. Yeah, that works. Shout at the guards on the wall. From Skogr! Open the gate! You shout to the archers, not expecting much. You get as much a response as you expect. Find out more from the crowd. Spend an hour talking to different people, who all have the same story. A couple days ago, the chieftain shut himself in, closed the gates, and refused any more refugees. They've got huge stores of supplies in there too, adds one man. They're just hoarding them. Eggo pulls you aside. I was following the outside of these walls, he said. And there's a water passage we can squeeze through, I think. Not the whole caravan, but if a handful of us get in, we might get the gates from the inside. This is an event only Eggo can bring you to. So, let's check out the water passage. I'm not fitting through there, says Iver when you arrive at the narrow ducts. Go without me. It looks like it'll get you to the top of the walls and then down to the gate where you can open it. Wait for us by the gate, Iver. We'll be quick. When Eggo said water, you should have guessed a runoff. Still, you manage to squeeze your way through tight stonework and force your way past an iron grate. You take stairs to the top of the walls. As you approach the gates, armed men take notice. They don't ask questions. And I don't either. Let's kill some bitches. There are a lot of options to get into Frostvellr, some better and some worse than others. But I like this option because it's kind of the one I say gets the best results. So, with all that said, battle time! I didn't want to do this. Oh, shush. Shush, that is the only regret you can get from her not hurting anybody. Her hurting somebody, so... yeah, like I said, not much comes of it. Dang it, that was supposed to be for Gil. Oh, crit. Usually you don't see that until much later in this game series. What in the depths are you doing? Letting ourselves in. I see that. I'm very impressed. But all those people you just let in here? Dead. All those women and children with you? Dead. And thanks for killing the only ones holding this place together. Skull. What are you talking about? The man orders his guards to get the doors closed again before more refugees notice. If I knew there were fighters in a barrel outside, I would have brought you in. I'm Echo. I'm in charge here. You heard about the chieftain? We heard he's hiding out in the Great Hall. Oh, really? I think you mean hiding out in a grave? He's eating worms, if that wasn't clear. What happened in here? As soon as they heard Dredge were coming, anyone who couldn't swing an axe got one to the head. That's the short story, anyway. At least 3 clans in here warring over turf and food. And the worst are the godforsaken Varl. He eyes Iver and shrugs with an exaggeration, as if simply stating the obvious. We're in more danger here than out there? Look, I was in charge here before things went to crap. Got some people who can fight. You've got your own Varl. That counts for something. I can keep your flock safe in the Great Hall, fight for me, and to take back Frostvellr. I don't take sides. Too hard to tell when the good guys just have become the bad. Fine, cut these sheep loose and watch your own asses. What do I care? All I want to do right now is get out of these goddamn streets. Think carefully about what you want. Now, under normal circumstances, most people would pick to stay in Frostvellr at this point. But as we find out later, there is no good point to staying in there. If anything, it actually turns out to be more beneficial to be insane and do this. We're not staying here. Let us out. I don't know if that's... Echo's already shouted to his men, who stared daggers in return. They had just finished closing the massive doors, too. A fine waste of time and lives. Now get out! You pass again through the gates of Frostvellr. You wonder if you just threw away your best chance of survival. Answer, we didn't. Hope we know what we're doing. Making up as we go, Iver. Chapter 3. Little did they sleep. Yeah, unlike last time where I ended it during the mid-transition, I'm gonna let the transition play out. Because I really don't want to go through having to play through a good chunk of the game again. Well, good chunk. I had to play the last bit of the first chapter through. Hack on. We're back. I was able to get as many warriors from Strand as you wanted, and more weapons. Extra supplies, too. You perk up. Melgear is just talking to you. Since Vognir died, everyone's been looking at you to make the decisions. It's exhausting. Well, the game should have saved by now, so... yeah, that's where we'll call it there. Here. Next time on the Banner Saga, we'll catch back up with Hakon and Prince Ludin to see how they've been dealing with this shit. Well, see you next time, guys.